Good morning and welcome to AM Prime here on WESN. I am Takia Thompson, your host for our Wildlife Wednesday show. Before we dive into our usual segments today, we'd like to begin with a short but powerful message which speaks volume on the importance of wildlife education, not just locally but globally.
Knowing about nature and appreciating it, they will not understand it. And if they don't understand it, they won't protect it. And if they don't protect it, who will?
Moving on with our segments, we continue with our Wildlife Spotlight segment, where every bird has a story, and at Feathered Friends TT, those stories are being rewritten through rescue, rehabilitation, and free flight. What started as one young boy's fascination with macaws and parrots has grown into a sanctuary dedicated to giving these birds a second chance at life, while educating the public on proper care and conservation. Founder of Feathered Friends, TT, Johan Edwards, joined by Ms. Tammy Marie Reed, speaks about his journey, the growing need for bird rehabilitation in Trinidad and Tobago, and why these birds belong in the sky and not the cage. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Lovely having you here with us. So tell us about, your love for macaws, and first, how did it get there? And how did that childhood dream evolve from where it was into Feathered Friends TT?
No. Okay, so as long as I can remember myself, I always loved animals. But something about a bird stood out to me because of the fact that they could fly.
Yeah.
So I always loved birds. And one story stood out to me as far as I can remember. I can't remember the exact age I was, but I was very, very young. And my uncle had 3 macaws, and he told me he would have given me one, right? But it had a catch. He told me, go ask my dad if I could have it. So when I asked my dad explained that a macaw is a lot of responsibility. So, he would advise that maybe when you get older, you could have one. So they gift me an orange-winged Amazon parrot instead. But in my mind, I always wanted a macaw. So, a few years later, I was able to rescue a blue and gold macaw called Rio. And actually, that is where the journey all began, from Rio, yeah.
So you mentioned Rio. We're just going to get a little bit more information on Rio.
Yes.
So what role did that bird in particular, play in shaping your journey?
Well, Rio was so special because when he came, his wings were clipped and so on. And I told everyone that, you see, this bird, he's going to become a free flight trained macaw. And when you tell somebody a macaw is going to be able to fly and come back to you, everybody was like, no way. So I was known as a crazy bird man for quite a while because I always loved Rio and I would have been with him 24/7. But we built a close bond, right? Wow. And, I worked tirelessly with him, hours of training, and we successfully accomplished free flights. But Rio actually taught me a lot because, we had a lot of trial and error.
Yes.
And, he actually shaped Feathered Friends today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, what inspired you to move from free flight training into rehabilitation and conservation? And also, can you stick in that definition for free flight for persons watching on also?
Yes. So what really opened my eyes to conservation was everywhere I took Rio to fly, I realized we wouldn't see any more macaws flying.
Wow.
And blue and gold macaws are native to Trinidad and Tobago, as long with the red-bellied macaws. So I asked myself, I said, how come, we don't see them flying in the wild? And then I started to do a lot of research, and I realized in 1959, there were only 15 blue and gold macaws left in the wild. And in 1970, they were totally extinct in Trinidad and Tobago.
Wow.
So I wanted to challenge myself, and I wanted to say, okay, how could you try to help reintroduce these birds,
Yes.
or have a successful growing population again? And that's where it started. I started to rescue birds, adopt birds, rehabilitate them, and then release them. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned noticing, that very limited macaw population in Trinidad and Tobago. How serious is that issue today, and what species do we have here in Trinidad?
So, to this date, Feathered Friends, we have successfully released over 30 macaws. So they were the pastoral rehabilitation process, and now we release them back into the wild. So I would say just by us releasing 30, along with, you know, there's some other groups, I think Asa Wright and a few others that started it in the 1990s. So we have a stable population as of now, but, you know, we are doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and I'm sure they are as well, to protect the species.
Definitely. Now, what are some of the most conditions rescued parrots arrived in?
So the most common condition is feather plucking, and this is due to stress. This is due to poor environments and a poor diet, and that's when the birds physically pull their feathers out. Yeah.
That sounds like a very painful, just to even think about it, so to imagine what they might be going through. Can you describe what that rehabilitation process, you know, for a bird would look like that has experienced neglect or years of confinement?
Sure. So our first stage of rehabilitation would be our quarantine, and this is to ensure that the birds are not sick or carrying any diseases, and that's because it can transfer from one bird to the next. Our second stage of quarantine would be our second aviary, where we allow for their feathers and wings to fully grow out. They would then be placed into our third aviary, which is where they're introduced to the rest of the flock and they get accustomed to the environment. And then lastly, that's when they would be released. Now, throughout these stages, it's not one bird that goes through all of them, so they're flocked going through the process. So they get to know each other and bond so that when they are released, they are one big happy flock.
Wow, just wow. What has been one of the most emotional, even rewarding rescue stories for you personally?
Personally, my favorite bird is Jojo, but one of our most touching stories would be Ruby. She is one of our green-winged macaws, and Ruby has been confined to a cage for 16 years. So from rescuing her from this small cage to her coming into our care and then fully now flying and enjoying life, it is one of the most rewarding things. And guests that visit us love to see her in flight. She's amazing.
Wow, just wow. Now, many people, they see parrots as beautiful pets. It's no given here in Trinidad, especially. But your sanctuary advocates against keeping them caged. Why was this message so important for you?
This message is very important because if you look at, you know, this majestic creature, you would realize that it's very intelligent. And when we just lock them up behind bars, you know, so much is going on in their head. So as Tammy mentioned, when you just cage a bird and it starts plucking its own feathers, that by itself says something is wrong. And a bird has wings for a reason. They were born to fly. So we are not against having them as pets, but they should be flying. And they have the capability of learning how to free fly.
Absolutely. Now, Feathered Friends TT official offers educational tours to the public. What can visitors expect from this experience?
So when guests visit us, they get educated on the different species of macaws and parrots that we have at the sanctuary. They also get to know the rehabilitation process, so they appreciate the work that we do behind the scenes. And we also have bird interactions where we have monitored feeding, where you get to give them little treats.
I'm seeing here in the videos, you know, these children are so, you know, welcome and open to just feeding these birds. It's as if they're not even scared, because sometimes persons might have a scared or a fearful approach because they're bigger than them, right?
Usually the kids are more brave than the adults. So they're like, Auntie or Uncle, I want to feed them, and we love when they do because the birds love them. They're very gentle, and we monitor them so we know that they're safe.
Wow, just wow. And how exactly would these tours help promote wildlife awareness and even conservation?
I believe that the most important thing is education. So the more people that are educated on the situation is the more people that can understand it and appreciate it. And from the tours, they come and they learn so much that they're able to spread awareness on what the importance of it is.
Definitely. Now, before we continue, I just, because he's doing so much, who do we have here in studio with us today?
This is Bob.
This is Bob.
He's one of our most famous macaws because if you look at the color, so many people, he's perfect. Yes, he's perfect. So he will be one of our ambassadors, and he is the best. Yeah, he's the best. And his story is amazing. If you want a short, we adopted him, and he wasn't this tame. So this came with a lot of work, and now he doesn't want to leave my side. Yeah. So that's why we chose him to come here.
And the guests love that he's so beautiful and majestic, and then when you hear his name, it's Bob.
It's Bob.
Who did the picking for the name?
Well, he came with that name, and Tammy didn't want me to have that name.
I tried to add on to Bob's name, but I was not successful.
No, but I know you were saying off camera that, he has a lot of personality. These birds has a lot of personality.
No.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, why are we here? He wants to fly. Yes. That's what's going on, because he left the flock home. So now he's like, Daddy, I'm ready to go home.
He's like, what's going on? Where are we?
Yes.
No, but he is very well, tame, and
calm, right?
he's very calm. And I guess he's really enjoying what's happening this morning because he's not making a fuss as yet.
He's quite interested. I believe if he could have spoken, he would have had his own interview.
I would not doubt that. Now, with all of this, what challenges come with, running a bird sanctuary in Trinidad and Tobago?
I would say, putting a lot of work behind the scenes where people aren't aware of how much work we actually do.
Yes.
And then with these birds, there's a big poaching problem where people go and they destroy the nest to get the babies and they sell the babies, right? So for us, we put in so much work, and the poachers still, they don't understand the message because in their mind, they just see value, catch them and sell them. So I would say to this date, and it's been so in history, that's why the birds were extinct. People catching them and destroying their nest and all that. And for me, I'd say that's the #1 challenge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you seen growing public interest, in animal rehabilitation and conservation locally?
So based off on these tours and the feedback that we get from the tours, a lot of people are interested. We've gotten hundreds of thank yous for the great work that we are doing. And I would say from persons attending the tours and understanding what we're doing, they are more interested in it as they are appreciating the work that is being done and how much work it takes to do what we do.
Wow, just wow. Yeah. Now, looking ahead, what are your hopes for Feathered Friends TT and even for the future of bird conservation in Trinidad and Tobago?
Right, so for me, it was always bigger than Feathered Friends, right? God opened the door for Feathered Friends to do what we do. And for me, it's about protecting the species, and I want you to wake up every day and look out your window and see macaws flying. Because if a species is native to your country, we're supposed to be seeing them every day, It shouldn't be a rare sight to see. So our goal would be bigger than just Feathered Friends. It would be to actually repopulate Trinidad and Tobago and, make people value these beautiful animals.
Wow.
Yeah?
Just wow. Tammy, you have anything to add to that?
The only thing I'd like to add is to educate persons on seeing them nesting, allowing them to nest and leave the nest alone. Stressing on that point because, as Johan mentioned, these birds are beautiful, they're native to here, and the problem with poaching is very serious. So I would just like to highlight that.
And one more thing for me, they are so much more valuable out of a cage than in a cage, right? Because they can fly, they look so majestic. When you have them, you could imagine seeing Bob fly, the whole tail feathers open up and all that. So I'm just saying, they are much more valuable in their natural habitats. Yeah?
Definitely. And now, if someone, looking on, they want to get a tour, they want to be a part of that experience and, come and feed these macaws and parrots, how do we contact you guys?
So we do have a website where they can contact us, featheredfriendstt.com, and all the information is on our website. And our contact number is 703-6766. 703-6766 for anyone who's interested in visiting.
And now some fun questions. What are the typical eats of these birds? Because at one point in the video I saw bananas and then I saw peanuts. So are they pickish with what they eat, or?
So a lot of people think that a bird's diet or a parrot's diet is sunflower seeds, and that is not true. And guests are amazed by what we feed our birds because they get a variety of different nuts. So they're like, they're eating cashews, they're eating almonds, they have walnuts and all these different things, as well as their fruits and vegetables. So when they come and they see sweet peppers and they see bananas and apples, they're like, these birds eat better than us. And I'm like, yeah,
They do.
they need a balanced diet, yes.
Because in the wild, they won't be getting one seed.
That is
You know, they eat a variety of food. So if you want to keep them in captivity, the least you could do is try to, you know, replicate that.
Yeah,
Yeah?
definitely. And any misconceptions about having, you know, birds as pets?
I would say the misconceptions is that, you know, you buy this beautiful, you know, creature, you rescue it, and the first thing you go for is a cage. You know, I think that people have to understand how intelligent these birds are and actually put some more effort into, okay, if I want a parrot or I have the opportunity to rescue a parrot, what is this parrot capable of? Yeah, when they understand that the bird is capable of actually going and fly and coming back to you, I think it changed the whole perspective on a parrot.
It does.
Yeah, so our goal, one of our biggest goals would be, even if you want to own a parrot, guys, they are capable of being trained to fly and come back to you. Yeah? So let's get them out of cages.
Absolutely. And lastly one, because, you know, persons would have parrots at home and they love to talk. Do all parrots talk?
I would say the more you talk to a parrot is the more it speaks. You know, a lot of people think a parrot will come talking, but no. You have to, it's like a child learning to speak. So the more you talk to it and the more you repeat a word. Let's say I want to train Bob to say I love you. I have to repeat that every day for it to stick in his head. Your bird isn't just going to wake up talking. Yes, it's a long process.
It definitely is.
Yes.
Now, guys, thank you so much for coming on and being a part of the show. Is Bob friendly? I feel
You want
like,
to hold him?
I mean, yeah.
So guys, if you all come to Feathered Friends, you might get the opportunity to, you know, hold Bob. He's a very well-trained bird, so he actually, you know, you can step up and you get a picture with him. So I'm sure she's going to remember this moment.
Absolutely. Guys, you're going to have to, you know, play that back to see that Bob was in my hand.
Let's do it one more time for the viewers. Up, Bob. Well-trained, and then he said up and he's back.
That is actually really,
Yes.
really cool, majestic as he is. Thank you so much.
Better than in a cage.
Thank you so much for having us. It was lovely being here.
This is so important to even have these conversations about the conservation, about macaws, parrots, birds that we normally tend to just keep in cage because they're pretty and we want to keep them home by us. But like you said, out of the cage is better for them. Being able to have them free and let them fly and come back to you. You know, I think that is...
With TNT, we should see them flying every day, you know, rather than having them locked up. You know, I think it's so much better for our country even to have these birds free. You know, it's a sight to see. We're blessed to have them.
Definitely.
Yeah, so we should protect them.
And lastly, if any of you have any birds that you do have in cages and you would like to for us to adopt them, we do adoption. As Johan mentioned, you can reach out to us at 703-6766 and let's get them out of those cages and living their best life.
Thank you so much, guys, for coming on this morning and being a part of the conversation.
Yes.
Guys, we are about to take a short break, and when we come back, we have more engaging conversation. So stay with us.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up Doc isn't just a title, it's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
This is 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for, it's called loss and damage, and we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region. Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
Welcome back. In our environmental changes segment, we take a trip to our twin island. Hidden in the hills of Mason Hall, Tobago, Corbin Local Wildlife is doing more than rescuing injured animals. It's working to preserve an entire ecosystem. From rehabilitating wildlife and restoring native forests to documenting Tobago's biodiversity through its Corbin Forest School initiative, the independent conservation space is helping to fill critical gaps in environmental knowledge while inspiring a deeper appreciation for the land's natural heritage. This morning, we take a closer look at the work being done to protect Tobago's wildlife one species at a time. Good morning, Mr. Corbin.
Good morning to you guys. Good morning to the world.
Yeah. Can you tell us, how did Corbin Local Wildlife first started and what inspired this journey of conservation that brought it into work?
Well, it started at a very tender age. I grew up on a farm where I'm currently at this moment. And growing up here, I've seen a lot of animals running around, enjoying life. And as I grew older, I grew a bit more inquisitive. So I started trying my best to take home maybe an injured bird or maybe something that got lost and try my best to fix them and get them back out there. And I grew with that passion. And it led me straight into hunting. My neighbors and friends around me were hunters. So I wanted to see, get that experience, what is happening out there in the deep forest. So I started hunting from a very tender age. Due to that, I got addicted, became a professional hunter.
Wow.
And after several years, I realized, hey, that's not what I wanted. So I realized before my eyes, the animals were disappearing. They were getting smaller. And I decided, okay, let me do what I really was intended to do. So I switched from hunter to protector.
Wow.
So I took all the knowledge that I got from being out in the bush and I put it to whatever the books gave me. And I decided, look, it's time to start something to save the remaining wildlife on the island of Tobago.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I started this project.
Wow. Just wow. I love that you were able to turn that hunting into protecting. That really is a turnaround story there. What type of animals are most commonly rescued and rehabilitated at the facility?
Well, snakes, of course. That's top of the list because most humans have phobias for snakes.
Yeah.
Most people hate snakes. So we are on call 24/7 to rescue and rehabilitate snakes all over the island. So
Wow.
some are in people's houses, in your garage, maybe you're on your farm, too close for comfort. Yeah.
Yeah.
So snakes and armadillos and caimans, those three are high on the list.
Wow. And can you walk us through that, process of rescuing, rehabilitating, and eventually releasing wildlife back into nature?
Right. So we get calls. So the police call us, the fire service would call us, the general public call us, 911 call us, and people would give us directions. I am the main person that would do those rescues. I would take along my son now and again with me, but we go to the locations, and if the animal is comfortable to be rescued, we would rescue it. Some animals are not in a comfortable position to be rescued. Some people call us because the animal is maybe 40 feet up in a tree.
Ooh.
I'm not going up there to get that animal. So I would advise them on, okay, it's safe where it is. If it moves from where it is and it comes maybe in your house or a bit closer, we could remove it. But please leave it where it is. It's out of harm's way.
Right.
And it's a dangerous job. So I try to be there at all times because it's wild animals you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And you have to have experience also. Because of my hunting experience, being out there in the bushes, I've gained that wealth of experience and knowledge.
Yeah.
So I know how to manage these animals when confront them. So they're gonna bite. You have to get accustomed to that because you're gonna get bite at some time. Okay, we try to avoid, minimal damage, but it do happen. Sometimes the animals are damaged pretty bad because humans can't resist banging them up a bit, chopping them, throwing chemicals on them. So trust me, I've met a lot of funny examples out there. Not nice ones, but we try our best to still save those animals.
Yes.
Some die, some are being able to be rehabilitated at some point. And we do get some that are damaged to the point where we can't put them back in the forest.
Wow.
So those are the ones that we would house at our compound for breeding purposes.
That is that's touching. That's really important that you'll do that as well, because they too need a home, And
they do.
Your organization also focuses heavily on habitat restoration. Now, why is restoring native forests just as important as rescuing animals?
Well, if we rescue the animals and we don't have anywhere to put them, that's not a good thing. So we need to also preserve and try to get back plants, the food source in the forest, so that the animals would not starve when we put them back out there. So we do a lot of that. We put a lot of plants in, fruiting trees, flowers, the ones that bear berries, so that there's always food out there for the animals to survive.
Yeah.
Because if there isn't food, that would draw the animals back closer to built-up areas, and people don't want animals. People who have phobias don't want animals too close to them.
Yes. So
once there's food in the forest, the animals will stay there.
Wow. And I feel like that is like a known fact that persons may be aware of, but at the same time they're not aware of. That the reason the animals is coming out is because food, they need to eat as well, just as we eat every day. And you even mentioned Tobago faces a biodiversity data gap. What exactly does that mean, and why is it a concern?
Well, okay. Now, let me take it down a bit. Now, if you have a newborn baby, you take pictures from birth. First step, you take pictures, that baby is growing. You take pictures, that baby got sick, you take pictures. That baby went off to preschool, you have pictures.
Right.
Primary school, you have pictures. So if we don't have that kind of data to support what's happening in the forest, we're in a lot of trouble. Or we're going to know what's there and what's not there, what needs help, what needs to be on that protective list.
Yeah.
So data is very important. We can't do it because what's happening environmentally, we come around, we do data. Good thing, after, what, 10, 12 years, we come back again. What happened to that gap? You know how much we missed there?
Yeah. Wow. And even when you were talking, can you just elaborate more on, the importance of documenting the native species in helping to protect Tobago's environment for the future?
Yeah. So my thing is the schools. If we could get the kids involved in that data collection, that would be so good. Not just for them, but for the next generation to come and maybe the other one. We have that data collection, and it also it's so important. Trust me, that data collection is so important. If you don't have data, I would reiterate again, if you don't have data, how would you know what animals are there?
Right.
How would we know where can we find the important ones? How would we know the pollinators if they're there? Okay, we might realize, okay, fruit production have gone down. Why is that? If we had data collection, we could say, okay, there are no more bees, there are no more butterflies. So that's how important it is.
Yeah.
It's important for our survival. If we don't have that data collection, eventually we would cease to exist because the animals are going, and if the animals are not there, they're the important ones. They're keeping us alive.
Yeah. And even when you mentioned schools, now the creation of the Corbin Forest School, what are some of the main goals that are set out in this school?
Okay, so our main goal there is to get the kids out of the classroom and into the forest. So yes, environmental work is being taught in the schools, but that example would be even more instilling the kids if they're in it. You get me?
Yeah.
Get them out of the school, get them into the bush. Because some kids okay, we have many schools that come to us now.
Right.
And some of the kids are even afraid to even walk in the bush.
Wow.
You're seeing that they're all freaked out. So we need to get that out of the kids and get them into the bushes, let them realize how important it is to be out there and learn.
Yeah.
And I think that learning it's going to stick more if they're in it.
Yes.
Classroom is important, but they need to be out there also.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And how does, local knowledge and direct observation contribute to the research that you're conducting?
Oh, no, I didn't get that question.
How does local knowledge and direct observation contribute to the research that you are conducting?
Okay, so that's very important again. Okay, so local observation. Now, workers on the park, myself, my sons, and if we have volunteers, every now and again you spot something interesting, something that you have never seen.
Yeah.
And with local knowledge, you can put it together, have that package, and you can be able to share that knowledge with the kids whenever they come in.
Yeah. Wow. That is really cool. And have there been any surprising discoveries or findings, like you mentioned, through your work in the forest that you can share with us?
Okay, so we have spotted eight different types of butterflies that have never been recorded in Tobago.
Wow.
We have spotted them with Corbins because of what we have created, that environment. A lot of the animals and birds are coming back. And we have spotted one species of birds that have not been seen for over 16 years in Tobago.
Wow.
We have spotted that with Corbins.
That's fascinating. So just imagine, this is just a step into what more you can even discover and then record for its sake.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of, the biggest environmental threats currently facing Tobago's wildlife and even ecosystems?
I didn't get the beginning of the question.
What are some of the biggest environmental threats currently facing?
Oh, threat?
Yeah.
The main one is overhunting. That's one of the main things that's threatening the environment here. Again, I don't know if you know, Tobago, there's something called harvest here.
Yes.
Right. So in season and out of season, or illegal hunting, I should say, do take place a lot due to those events. People would be serving a lot of bushmeat in those events. So that's one of the main things I would say is environment, with threatening the environment in Tobago, and habitat loss. So we are losing habitat due to maybe overpopulation of humans. I don't know what we're going to do about that, but we need to maintain some of our habitat in order to keep the environment clean, safe. Yeah.
Absolutely. And even as an, independent conservation space with no government funding, what are some of the challenges that you may face in sustaining this work?
Oh, well, you might, or you may or may not know, we don't get government funding, so we depend on visitors, tours that would bring in petty change, I would say, but it also helps to keep us afloat.
Yeah.
But if we access proper funding, we should be able to do a lot more than we are doing. We are just doing what we do out of the love for it.
Yeah. Wow. And even you mentioned, the tours and, public visits and whatnot. What can visitors expect to experience when they come to Corbin local wildlife?
Well, a lot of people, Tobago, because let me go back a bit. Because of the overhunting problem in Tobago,
right,
the animals and birds are fearful of humans. So from the time they hear footsteps or voices, most of the animals disappear into the forests. So at Corbin's, you get an opportunity to see most of those animals that you would not see if you just walk into the forest,
right,
up close and personal. Yeah.
Wow.
And loads of information on each individual animals, and the importance in the environment.
And that's so important. Being aware and gaining that knowledge is really, truly something that everyone should at least try to get or even adapt to at some point. Now, why is it important for young people and communities to become involved in conservation efforts?
Well, I think if we love our island, not just young people, but yes, we need to focus on young people.
Yeah.
I think if we really, really love our beautiful islands, we boast that, we are the best Caribbean island. Yes, we are, I believe that. So I think we all need to be involved in keeping it that way. So conservation is the only thing that's going to keep it how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yes, we need to focus on the kids, because I think the next generation is the important one. They are the ones I believe would take this job and do what's best, and maybe train others that are coming up to continue saving Trinidad and Tobago, or as we say, Tobago's environment, wildlife, you name it, fauna, flora. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, looking ahead, what is your long-term vision for Corbin local wildlife and even the future of Tobago's biodiversity conservation?
Right. So, one, I would love it if we are on that curriculum, make it a must. The schools come to us, whether it's once a month or however they want to put it. So they get that information, they get that be educated on environmental stuff.
Yeah.
And we have lost some of our species, animals and birds on the island. And my goal is to try to get those birds and animals back to Corbin's, get them breeding, and get them back into selective areas in the forest. Because we are sort of have lost our balance here, where predator and prey is concerned. So now we have more prey and less predators.
Right.
And so we're trying to see if we could fix that problem and get that balance working again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it really shows that we do need each other, even in the ecosystem, for everything to remain at that balance. And like you said, right now it looks as though there are really more predators than prey, and That's really bad. These animals, they have lost their homes, due to hunting or other things that may be happening as to why they can't remain. And it's really important that we leave space for animals to have a home just as we would like to have our home. I think it's important that we have these it is important. And having these conversations, to me, it really does help in terms of letting the public know, letting viewers know, looking on, that they're just like us. They need to eat, they need to sleep, they need to rest, and
they do.
Just as we don't like persons imposing in our space, it's the same for them. It's the same.
We need to also respect their space.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Mr. Covey, so much for coming on this morning and leaving leaving that insightful, informative information with us. And for persons who looking on and they want to come and visit and be a part of the Corbin Local Wildlife Experience, how can we get in contact with you?
So my number is 327-4182. You can get me on WhatsApp. We are also on Facebook. We are on TikTok. Our email is corbinlocal@gmail.com. corbinlocal@gmail.com. So you can email us. You can WhatsApp us. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok. Or just simply call me. Old school way.
And I do believe that it is a perfect opportunity. Everyone in Trinidad wants, they visit in Tobago, to go down, Mason Hall, and check out and actually visit and see what's going on. It sounds like an ideal thing to do. And even the Tobagonians across there, to not take it for granted what they have right at home, So thank you so much for coming on and, being a part of this morning's conversation with us.
If these walls could talk, they'd cry uncle. They didn't plan to become offices or yoga studios, but they've stood by us, even when we got a little stir-crazy. For that, they deserve some thanks. They deserve Benjamin Moore.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1, find the style number on the tag. Step 2, match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3, search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Are you driven, ambitious, and ready to earn? WESN, the content capital, is expanding, and we're looking for dynamic media sales executives to join our team. Sell powerful advertising solutions across television, digital, and social media platforms, and help brands tell their story. If you have strong communication skills, a passion for sales, and the drive to succeed, join WESN today. Send your CV to marketing@wsncc.com or WhatsApp 6861662 and start building your future.
Welcome back. Wildlife is not just about preserving nature, but also safeguarding tourism, education, food security, and the environmental balance that communities depend on. International conservationist, explorer and founder of Jungle Keeper, Paul Rosalie, focuses on preserving the Amazon wildlife. We'd like to show you all a clip of this video, so take a look at this message from Paul.
Idea that, you know, if you were to come to a major office building and try to set it on fire, it would be an act of terrorism. You'd go to jail. But if we go to a forest and we use explosives to destroy the side of the mountain and we cut down the forest and kill all the animals and burn the trees, somehow that's just called development. It's not development, it's murder. And at this point on Earth, we've lost 50% of the wildlife on our planet. Not of the species, but of the total numbers of those species. So 50% of the life on our planet we've killed. Removed the habitat, actually killed the species. Tigers have lost so much of their range. India actually is an incredible success story for conservation because the tigers are going up in numbers. And so that's huge. In so many other countries, tigers have dropped off and are just gone. What I try to explain to people is that we are still so connected to ecosystems, and we have to change the way we think.
That was a message from Paul. Now, in our Eco Hero feature segment, understanding wildlife goes far beyond conservation and observation. It's about patience, instincts, and building a unique connection with nature. Wildlife observationist Jeremy Wish has spent years working closely with animals across Trinidad and Tobago, learning their behaviors, earning their trust, and in some cases, rehabilitating them for release back into wild. Today, we explore how he reads wildlife and the delicate balance between captivity, training, and conservation. Good morning, Jeremy.
Good morning.
So, take us back to the beginning. What first sparked your passion for working so closely with wildlife?
Well, I think most of us would have started looking at Steve Owen, the crocodile hunter, deceased. And that's where I would be, from a child, I would be looking at him and wishing I could do the things that he was doing. Yeah. I think about like 5, 6 years old. And the first time I encountered a snake was like the greatest experience of my life. When I didn't know what I was doing, but from what he showed me on screen, I could have hold the snake by its tail and try to get it into a container and these things. That was the best time of my life at that time. And that's where it started. From there, it went on to, I would be playing with lizards, any little thing, caterpillar, butterflies, bees, all these little things. So, yeah, it would have started with Steve Owen.
Wow. Wow. And when you say you can read animals, what does that, really mean? And what signs or behaviors do you look for?
All right, so I look at the body language of the animal. So take, for example, these snakes are pretty calm. But if you were to encounter one of these guys in the wild, they will take a defensive posture. Now, a lot of persons will say it's trying to attack you. But it's not an attack posture, it's defense. They see you as a giant trying to eat them. So they just want to save their own lives. Yeah. All right? All animals will try to get away from you, basically. It will be a fight or flight response. If you leave them alone, they will just go their way. That goes for any animal. Wow. Only in other countries, you will find animals trying to defend their territory and attacking you and these things. But in Trinidad, for the most part, animals will just get away from you.
Yeah. And how long would you say it takes to, build that trust with an animal?
It depends on the species that you're working with. It depends on the age of the animal. When it comes to younger animals, obviously they are less experienced, so it becomes easier. But the older ones, yes, you could work with them. However, it will take some more time and a little more injury.
Oh, I like how you point out that part. Can you walk us through the process in terms of, being able to get an animal, encounter one and then eventually interact with it, train with it, and if there are cases, you release it back out to the wild. What is that like?
All right, so let me say for these guys, you don't have much work to do. You become a branch when it comes to snakes. You know, you give them support their bodies and no sudden movements. You try to slow down your heart rate, calm yourself so they don't feel the anxiety, because they will feel your heart rate through their bodies.
Right.
Right? So just to stay calm with the animals and they will be calm. When it comes to other creatures, such as I will practice falconry with hawks and owls and stuff. And the process is a little more where you will try to gain trust with the animals.
Right.
So you work with them, you give them food, and they will see you as a partner, working with them, feeding them, and they will basically be like, you know, with this person being around, I gain food. So this is my friend.
Yeah.
You stop feed them, they stop like you.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. Now, what animals have you kept in captivity, and what determines whether an animal can be rehabilitated and released versus kept longer term?
All right, so I would have worked with, I would say, everything that you could find in Trinidad and Tobago. Wow. All different species. The animals that we will keep as ambassadors, because I work with a wildlife rehab center. So the animals we'll keep as ambassadors is such that would have injuries that we cannot be released back into the wild, or something that is always misunderstood, like take for example snakes. These guys can be released back to the wild. However, we need ambassadors to be able to teach people about them.
Yeah.
A lot of persons I would have encountered would have started, they will kill all the snakes.
Right.
And after talking with them and interacting with the snake, it would be like, you know, I wouldn't kill it again. I'll call you guys to remove it if I encounter a snake again.
Yeah.
So, but when it comes to rehabbing, the rehabbing part of things, as long as the animal is deemed healthy, it's strong enough to hunt and survive on its own, it will be released.
Oh, okay. That's important. And now you do have 2 snakes in studio with us. So can you just tell us a bit about the snakes that you have here?
All right, so we have here a green anaconda. This is a baby. This girl is about 1.5 years old. All right, and we have here a Colombian rainbow boa. This is what we will find locally in Trinidad. What people call the rat snake.
Right.
This is a rainbow boa.
Wow.
They are both constrictors, meaning that they will kill their food, they will squeeze it and constrict it and swallow it down whole.
Right.
They are non-venomous.
Lovely. And what are some of the misconceptions people have about these particular snakes?
Well, firstly, as Trinidadians, majority would say a good snake is a dead snake. Right? So they will always assume that animals will try to attack them.
Yeah.
When, again, they just want to get away from you.
Wow.
So a lot of the stories you will hear is a snake, the snake strike at me, run me down and all these things.
Yeah.
That is not the case. That is never the case. That's be a person's fear, and they imagining these things due to the fear.
Yeah. Fear does make people do a lot of crazy things in the moment.
Definitely.
And as you mentioned before, once, you know, the snakes are able to detect if your heart is going to increase, or, you know, that anxiety comes on, they're going to think it's something that they need to become defensive about. So it's really important to stay calm. Now, can you share a moment that where you was reading an animal correctly, and that made a critical difference for whether it was safety or even survival?
Now, in this country, we don't really have animals that you will find could hurt us, humans. Okay. We have the venomous snakes, however. Right. Those, obviously, yes, you can die from those. But for the most part, no, we don't have animals that can hurt us.
Okay.
All right, everything will want to run away from you. It's not like in the States where you have to be cautious of a bear in the forest and these things. For the most part, they will just want to get away from you. So with regard to reading the animal it will be for their safety. So if I were to get a call for a snake in someone's home, the first thing is identifying the snake first. You know if it's venomous or non-venomous. There have instances where we have encountered a venomous snake like the pit viper. Right. And, you know, because of reading that snake, you will know when it's going to strike. You'll know how to interact with it to get it into the enclosure, into a container for removal and relocation. That is for the most part of it.
Oh, okay. And now in terms of, well, I mean, you must be knowledgeable on these things, able to, do you separate or tell the difference between snakes based on their coat or their what would you call it?
The coloration.
The coloration, yeah.
Yeah, it is basically in Trinidad we have 4 main venomous snakes. We have more, but the main ones are the two coral snakes and two vipers. Right. Everything else is mildly venomous because they are rare-fanged or non-venomous. Yeah. When it comes to, you really need to study them to know the main ones at least, and for the most part, even the coral snakes don't really bite. You have to be going to interact with the animal, trying to pick it up or play with it for you to be bitten by these animals.
Wow.
If you just leave them alone, they wouldn't care if you're there or not. They will go about their business.
They're going about their day like normal.
Yeah. When it comes to venomous snakes, they don't want to waste their venom on you. They rather use that to catch food.
Right.
But when it comes to humans, they will use it to defend themselves, obviously, and the majority of persons who will be bitten, who have been bitten, it was either trying to interact with it, trying to kill the snake. And then there's the instance where they will be walking through the forest unconcerned, and they might step on it. That goes for like the vipers for the most part. Vipers, they believe in their camouflage so well that they will stay still.
Right.
And you will be walking through and they will hear you coming, but they will stay still and be like, you know what, if I don't move, he wouldn't see me, he wouldn't eat me. But then you might step on it. And that is where the fatality does happen. But for the most part, be cautious walking through the forest and leave them alone when you spot them.
Now, where can these snakes be commonly found?
You will find the green anaconda throughout the River swamp and tributaries. Tributaries are the river stream that connected to the main river. Mostly in the tributaries, you'll find the green anacondas. In the River swamp, the Caroni swamp, any of the blackish water that's found around Trinidad. And then you will find this one will be found throughout Trinidad and Tobago, the rainbow boa constrictor. These are more common snake persons will find in their homes, going after maybe little mice and rats in the community.
Okay. Oh, look at that. And do you think enough is being taught about awareness for the wildlife that we have here in Trinidad, you know, snakes, for instance, and other species? Do you think enough is being done to spread awareness?
There will never be enough. There will never be. The work is, no matter how many persons get involved in conservation, it's never enough. We're always looking for that next person to be aware and be cautious and pay attention and, you know, try and get rid of the poachers, respect the animals, respect the environment, respect the forest. Littering, that is part of conservation. You'll go to hikes and rivers, streams, and you'll find a lot of debris, people leaving there, you know, so it's an ongoing process, and it will never be enough people we will find to do this.
Wow. And now, for viewers looking on, what is one message you'd like them to take away from, you know, if they get into that interaction with a snake or they come across one, what is that first response? What should that be like or look like?
I believe you should admire it from a distance and take as much pictures as you could, but leave it alone for the most part. If it's something that is within your path and it's threatening your livestock or probably your home or something, you can call on us at the Wildlife Center, you could call on the zoo, you could call on, and we will come and remove these animals.
Yeah. Wow, just wow. Guys, remember what he said, right? Just, you know, admire from afar and then call on the different respective persons that we have around us to take it. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we have more interesting animals to show you all and conversations, so stay with us.
If these walls could talk, they'd cry, "Uncle." They didn't plan to become offices or yoga studios, but they've stood by us, even when we got a little stir-crazy. For that, they deserve some thanks. They deserve Benjamin Moore.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up, Doc isn't just a title. It's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
Pastor J, I want to get a tattoo.
You really
respond
wanna-
to me. Respond to me. How you would respond to me?
The first question I'll ask is why?
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say,
services.
we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
Are you driven, ambitious, and ready to earn? WESN, the content capital, is expanding, and we're looking for dynamic media sales executives to join our team. Sell powerful advertising solutions across television, digital, and social media platforms, and help brands tell their story. If you have strong communication skills, a passion for sales, and the drive to succeed, join WESN today. Send your CV to marketing@wsncc.com or WhatsApp 6861662 and start building your future.
Welcome back. Now we are still in studio with Jeremy Wish, and he has more wildlife animals that he wants to share with us and tell us more about. So first we were able to see the snakes, and now we're going to see some animals of the air. Now,
Hi, here we have a savanna hawk. Let's try to get him to calm down. This is a savanna hawk. You will find these birds more around, obviously, because of the name savannas.
Right.
They like lowland areas. They like to be around flat land with a little bit of stream around. These birds will eat mainly rodents and small birds, large insects.
Wow.
Yeah, so they will be eradicating a lot of the mice and rats on your property.
Okay.
This guy here is Kess, the savanna hawk. My colleague named him that over the part of the song Savannah Grass by Kess. Okay. So Kess is Savannah hawk. All right. We had her for about 4 years. I got her as a check out of the nest. What happened is we found her on the ground next to the tree that the nest is at. And we took ladders, went up to the tree, put it back into the nest, and by the time the evening, it was out the nest again. The mom was tossing it out. For whatever reason, raptors or even birds on the whole, they will toss their young one out the nest. If maybe it have not enough food around available, or if the bird have an injury, they will get rid of the weaker one.
Oh.
Birds don't really care about their young. They care about their DNA going on,
Yeah.
right? So when it comes to the emotional part of it, they don't care. They want to grow up the chicks so that they can carry on their DNA, basically. It's not like a mammals where, excuse, you would find dogs and cats will crave their mother or they will crave their young.
Yeah.
Because of the connection they will have, feeding by lactation and these things.
Right.
When it comes to birds, it's just about carrying on their legacy, carrying on their DNA.
Yeah. And how do you balance that human interaction with preserving animals' natural instincts?
Okay, so this is for rehabbing.
Yeah.
Most of the time, when we get a bird, let me say we got a young bird and we need to send it back to the wild.
Right.
What we'll do is put it in a place where it has less human interactions. All right? And then we will feed it in a spot where the bird not seeing us bringing the food.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't want to associate food with the animal at all. In that aspect of things, they would not be imprinted or trying to go to people for food in the wild.
Okay. And now with Savannah hawk, what are some of the misconceptions that persons may have about this animal?
First of all, everybody will see this bird and see it's a chicken hawk. It have persons who would have shot these birds because of they're taking up their chickens and their livestock and these things.
Right.
However, if it is you secure your pets, these animals will have no reason to come and hunt it. If it is people stop poaching and allow wildlife to be there and exist, they will have food to eat in the wild, so they won't come after your chickens. All right. The misconception with these guys is that basically that they will eat your food.
Yeah.
I have known hunters who would have go to the lengths of just the see the bird, just shoot it down.
Wow.
Because that bird will eat my agouti that I might get a catch in the wild. Whereas that's not the case.
And in terms of what does that process look like for interacting with animals such like this one?
When it comes to what aspect?
In terms of, you mentioned you got this one as a chick, but not all the times you're able to get them that small where they can get you it. So if you were to encounter one of this size, what would that process?
The larger species?
Yeah.
Mainly with rehabbing again, we would get them, if they are as an adult, they will come with an injury. Maybe they were shot, maybe they were electrocuted, they got hit by a car, and the process of rehabbing, firstly, you deem that the animal is able to go back to the wild.
Right.
Most of the time, if it's not, it will become an ambassador for the species, or we'll have to consider euthanizing. Euthanasia is where basically you kill the animal, right? Because it no longer could go on to the wild, and it doesn't make sense keeping it in captivity because it will stress the animal even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to the process, once the vets deem that the animal is healthy, and we would now put it into a flight enclosure, where it will be able to hunt. It will be able to, we'll observe it, make sure it could hunt, make sure it's doing everything it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's flying well, and then we'll release it back to the wild.
And now, what is the estimated period for that rehabilitation process? How long does it take for the animals?
Rehabbing could take from 2 weeks up to 2 years.
Wow.
Like take for example, we got an osprey at a time, and it was electrocuted. Osprey is a fish eagle.
Okay.
Right, so it went up on a high tension wire with a fish it just caught. That fish dangling on the wire, short off the electricity, the bird get burned. All the feathers was burnt off. So now it was alive. It was healthy, but it was featherless.
Wow.
So we had to wait for that bird to molt all the feathers, grow new ones, before we could release it back to the wild. That took about 2 years.
Wow. Wow. Can you share another story where you were able to encounter a wildlife animal and, would that release a successful release back out to the wild?
Yeah, we have a lot of success when it comes to the animals. We get even the chicks, like right now is baby bird season.
Right.
So we get a lot of babies. Yeah, and is either someone cut down a tree, the chick fall out the nest, the wind blow it out the nest. It have instances where poachers would have gone for parrots, and the people that sell the parrot who cannot take care of it, you know, so it's a lot. There's always something coming in. There's always a new animal coming in.
Yeah, that is true. Now, what animals have you, kept in captivity, and in terms of what you would have encountered so far, and, in terms of reading the animals, how was that journey come along?
All right, so when it comes to this guy here, sometimes he has his moods. So sometimes he will not want to work with us, and that's fine. That's understandable. It have instances where we'll be going to this place, and I will go to get him in, to take him into the carrier, and he just doesn't want to go. And that's fine. I respect him. You can stay there. We'll work with him another time.
Okay.
So I try to maintain a level of respect with the animals. When it comes to reading them, I would know when a lot of things going to happen. Like before he poops, I would know when he's going to do it, to aim his butt in a direction where somebody wouldn't be hit by it. But in terms of training, is a matter of trying to get him to understand that this glove is where he will get his food from, and he will always fly back to this.
You see, there was like a reaction there when you raised your hand for a second. It's as if he already knew what you were trying to say.
This is where he's trying to get the food from.
Okay. And in terms of reading, how long did it take you to actually read an animal?
This would have happened over years of paying attention to their body language. Look, just observing them in the wild, the way they fly, even being able to identify a bird way up in the sky where you can't see its colors, but you're just identifying by the way it flaps its wings. You can be able to tell what species it is.
Yeah.
And then observing their behavior and trying to simulate that in captivity so that they will have the best possible life with you if you're keeping that animal as an ambassador. So you'll find I will try to provide insects, as much as possible, because they will eat insects in the wild. I will try to making sure you're getting chickens, you're getting the little rats and mice and all these things. That is necessary. I can't feed this bird chicken like broilers like we would be eating. I can't be giving them that all the time. He has to get younger chicks, he has to get quails, we will get him the mice, we will get rats, we will get these large locusts.
Wow.
So you try to make sure he has a wide variety of food.
Yeah. And now we do have some other birds in studio, so we could just talk about them. No one to put them in harm's way or anything.
I could restrain this one and
I can bring
get
this
that one
one
out. Yeah.
Okay. Is it okay to open this up? Okay.
Yeah, you could take them out. Yeah, just cradle them on the front, right? So this is a baby tropical screeching owl. Right? These are more common bird you'll find in Trinidad as well. These are just a baby. Someone went to get parrots, to poach parrots out of a tree, and they found these little guys.
Okay.
So they decided nobody wants to buy them. They can't make any money on them, so they send it to the wildlife center.
Wow.
All right. Our responsibility now is to keep them fed, keep them healthy, and then we'll be able to turn them back to the wild.
Yeah.
What we'll do right now is just provide as much food and nutrition as possible.
Right.
When they reach an age where they could fly, we put them into a flight cage and release mice, release things inside of there, so they can identify their prey item and they will hunt that animal inside of the enclosure.
Okay.
Once we see that it's hunting well, it's flying well, and they are afraid of humans, we return them to the wild as soon as we can.
Wow. And where can these animals be found?
You will find these guys throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. They are very common. However, we hardly would see them because they are nocturnal.
Yeah.
And when they get older, they're just a small brown bird. So they will hide in the tree canopies. You wouldn't really see these guys flying around much.
Okay. So this coating here, because it's not a typical coating that you'd see on an owl. Is it this at this stage for babies? This is what they look like.
Yeah. So at this stage, that's the down feathers you're seeing there. You will find.
Sorry.
That's fine. Yeah. So that's the down feathers. That is what they will hatch with. And they will molt on those feathers and get their adult plumage.
Oh, Okay. And it's really just interesting to see, because I don't think many persons see them at this stage. You know, we normally would just tend to see them when they get bigger, and we see that brown coat. You know, we see the different coating for different owls, because I know there are more than one species of owls out there. So it's just, you know, spectacular to see them at this stage, and then to see what they can become afterwards. Now, what advice would you give to, you know, young persons interested in wildlife, you know, that wants to get work here in Trinidad and Tobago, or just loves to be passionate about these animals and want to do better? What advice would you give them?
Get involved with a wildlife center.
Yeah.
We have a few throughout the country. You can contact the forestry division and they will point into that direction. Once you get involved, you can get as a volunteer. You will get to work with the animals, you'll get to work with vets alongside and get familiar with these things.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to work with animals, you could get involved with part of the forest part, learning about the trees, the plants, you know, the environment. You have the flora and fauna that you could get involved with. Get involved in with any wildlife center or contact forestry. They'll point into that direction.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Jeremy. Now, any other message or any fun facts you'd like to leave us with these animals that we have here today?
Yeah, I would say please try and respect the animals.
Yeah.
Let's preserve the environment. Let's clean up after ourselves. When we go out into the forest, make sure just take pictures, leave footprints.
I like that. Very clean and straightforward. And now, for persons who might be afraid, you know, of these animals, what message would you leave with them?
If you're afraid of something, admire it from a distance.
Yeah.
You don't need to kill it. You don't need to destroy it. Look at it. Be afraid, that's fine. You know, if you want to face your fear, you could visit us. You could come to the wildlife centers, and we will work you through that. But for the most part, just leave it alone.
Yeah, absolutely. And with those wildlife centers, can you give us, you know, location, times, and, you know, how can persons get involved to know more about these animals?
All right, so we have a Serpentarium in Komoto.
Right.
That is run by Mr. Said Ali. You could look him up on Facebook, Instagram.
Yes.
Serpentarium, that is. We have the El Ciclo Center for Wildlife Conservation, that is located in Freeport and Brasso. That is Ricardo Mead. He is more works with the birds and stuff. Serpentarium is more reptiles, and Ricardo will work with the birds.
Okay.
All right. There's one in Rio Claro, that's Raw Conservation. So you can contact that. You'll find all these people on social media.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for coming on this morning and sharing these wonderful animals with us and giving us more insights about them, and, you know, giving us that informative message as well. It was truly uplifting. And what you do with these animals is also admirable. I don't think a typical Trini or anyone who doesn't really love and have a passion or a heart for wildlife would be doing what you do. So it's truly commendable that you are doing it. And we do need more persons like you to bring awareness and to show us that each animal has its part to play. And once we leave them to do what they need to do, we would be okay, you know? Guys, as we wrap up today's show, we hope that everything was timely and you did get to take away something from it. And again, if you are afraid of these animals, watch them and admire them from a distance. No need to try to kill them, make them a part of your meal plan. They have their own things that they would like to do as well, so keep that in mind when you see these animals. And like I always say, stay safe, stay informed, stay positive. Up next, we do have Sean Michael Small at 8 with Talking Points, so you want to come back for that. And I'll see you again tomorrow morning. Bye.
WESN.
Bill and Ruth fell in love with the Benjamin Moore color Dry Sage, but they tried to match it using another